Welcome back, everyone, to We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T. Ashley Nicole Moss, Erica Ayala. And before the break, I teased a very special interview, and it is special indeed because it is not every day you get to sit down with one of the GOATs of the WNBA, and that is what I got to do with DIANA TAURASI, a.k.a. the White Mamba. And I asked her, is it too soon in the season to get too high or too low, or what we're seeing from some of these teams? And she also gave me her way too early finals pick. I got that out of her. So take a look at this and we'll react. All right. Well, first and foremost, the legend herself. This is such an honor, and we're going to talk everything we possibly can talk about with you in the short window we have you. You know, you're not supposed to say this as a journalist. So I'm going to say it anyway. You're one of my favorite players of all time. And it's also because you remind me of one of my other favorite players of all time, and that is Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba, who gave you the nickname, the White Mamba. And his retirement was cut so short. But in the span that we did get to see, such an advocate for women's basketball, for the WNBA. What did that support mean for you as a player, as an advocate for women's basketball? And how can other players, specifically male basketball players, follow in his footsteps?
You know, the beauty about Kobe, post-retirement, is he was one of the first ones to really come and support the WNBA. And he did it not because he wanted to be the first one to do it. He did it because he really respected our game, and he understood the fundamentals of the game and how the game should be played. And he saw that in us. And I had so many amazing conversations with him about basketball and the fundamentals, and, how do you teach and coach, this younger generation and the youth to really understand what the important things of being a great teammate and being a great player are. And Kobe really symbolized all those things. And, I got to share so many great moments with him. And what he was able to do for the WNBA and women's basketball in that short time was really validate everything that we've been fighting for so long. But he did it in a way where he wasn't trying to take the credit for it. Kobe made sure to make everyone understand it's here already. We need to really embrace this and really cherish this. And that's one thing that I'll always remember and cherish and love about Kobe and everything that he did and what he represented for all of us.
Yeah, truly one of one. And in that same vein, I want to ask you, obviously, this is the last season the WNBA will play under its current CBA. And then the negotiations happen. And there's been a lot of conversation in the off season about, what the players are willing to do and not do to make sure that they get what they want in the CBA. Angel Reese was talking about, look, we don't want to not play basketball in terms of a lockout, but if that's what it comes to, we're willing to do that because of what we want and what we deserve. What do you hope that CBA will ultimately look like when the negotiation does open up and those conversations start happening?
Yeah, I've been a part of a lot of CBA conversations, and it's always a give and take. The players are going to want certain things, the owners in the WNBA are going to want certain things, and you're going to have to meet in the middle. That's just the life we live. The one thing that I always preached and I always had in the forefront were players' salaries. That to me has always been number one. I think sometimes we get sidetracked in the charters and, the amazing practice facilities and all these other things. I'm trying to make everyday life better for a basketball player. I think we need to be paid a salary that represents us being the best basketball players in the world, and the best league in the world. To me, that was always in the forefront. And, as far as not playing, those are pretty big comments. I've had that same sentiment in my career, but at the end of the day, when we lace them up, that's when our league does the best.
How hopeful are you, though, with all the positive changes that we've seen in the WNBA in these last few seasons, an increase in merchandise, in viewership, and just overall interest, that the CBA will be, obviously you can't get everything that you want, but a lot of what the players are looking to achieve in negotiations will be ultimately decided on favorably in what they're looking for?
Yeah, I really think we have to talk about retired players' benefits. Yeah, I mean, look, the league's in a great place. If there's a time to negotiate on behalf of players, it's now. I think we've earned that respect. We've earned everything that we'll get in the future. 30 years next year of our league being the longest, the best, the highest earning women's league in our country's history. I think that says a lot about the type of people that have worked in the WNBA, players, coaches, staff, trainers. I mean, you go down the line. This league has been built on some amazing women and men and people who love women's basketball. I think the next negotiations is the time to take it to the next level.
You played over 20 years in the WNBA, and throughout that time, you dealt with moderate to severe eczema. I just want you to kind of talk about that journey. It's not something that we see often, or people that are open about their eczema. Kind of what made you want to be open? How have you managed it? And what are you doing to raise awareness?
Yeah, my eczema story has been a long journey. It's this inner battle that I've had, with myself for a long time. I take back, the memories of when I was in college, and it really started to hit me where, I had moderate to severe eczema. And, like anyone that has it, it starts with, uncomfortable skin, itch and redness. And if you know anyone with eczema or you have it yourself, you know how uncomfortable that is. Especially when you're a basketball player, you're always in a jersey. I was so self-conscious about it. It was something that I didn't know really how to get the proper treatment. And, I would use all the creams and the lotions and the potions and all those things to try to keep it at bay, but nothing really helped. And, luckily, with my dermatologist, they suggested, Dupixent, and partnering with Sanofi and Regeneron has really made the biggest difference in my life and my journey with eczema.
Yeah, I mean, how's your skin now? Are you have it under control? Do you feel comfortable where it is?
Oh, I'm in such a better place. All the things that I frankly just would never do, getting in the pool, getting in the ocean, all the symptomatic things that were triggered so easily, now are all the things I can enjoy with my family. And it's really been, it's been game changing for me in so many ways. It's been a great partnership.
Well, you mentioned the pool and the beach and spending time with your family, and you have a lot more time to do that these days. For the first time in 20 years, we have not seen you lace up for WNBA tip-off. It's weird for us, but I can only imagine how weird it is for you. How are you adjusting?
Now I'm a fan. Now I can be, an irrational fan and be okay with it. It's been great. Someone asked me the other day if I miss it, and to be honest, I don't. I squeezed every last little bit of juice out of my career, and I enjoyed every single minute of it, every single team, every single season. And now I'm just, I'm in a good place where, I'm where I want to be. And it's great to see what this weekend was for the WNBA, and going forward, it's going to be a great season.
Opening weekend. It just passed. Opening week, I should say. Now that you get to sit back and enjoy it as a fan, what were some of your favorite moments? And who do you think can take down my New York Liberty as the reigning champs?
Hey, look, New York's just fantastic. When you talk about a team with students, that's going to be a tough team to beat. And then you add Natasha Cloud, who's one of my favorite teammates. Favorite players to watch, the way she plays with that energy. And, it's always hard to come back as defending champions. No matter what, things are different. People come in with different attitudes and mentalities. So I think to bring Tasha in and really hone in on that, we got to get back there and do it again. How can you count the Liberty out? Obviously, when you talk about other teams building these rosters that can compete to try to win a championship, there's a lot of them out there.
Two more questions before I let you go. One, there have been some new teams that we have seen formulated over the offseason, the Seattle Storm being one. They completely revamped the team, the Washington Mystics, and some teams are performing better than others in this first opening weekend, and some are having a little bit of a slow start. What do you want people to know about not getting too high or getting too low on the first product that you see on the court, when the season immediately starts?
Yeah, I was always a big proponent of you can't peak too early. And all these teams are figuring a lot of things out. When you think about how short the training camp session is for us, where it's, 2 weeks, and then you throw in 2 preseason games, and, you have a roster of 21 players that get trimmed down to 12 or 11. This first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, you're really going to work well together at the same time, trying to make sure you beat the other team. So, that first month of the season, it's always going to benefit the more veteran teams, the teams that have been together, the cores that have been together for 3 or 4 years. And I think as the season goes on, you're going to really see these teams formulate these winning habits, and it's going to be a great season.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot before I let you go. I want you to pick your finals matchup and your winner right here, right now. Your way too early prediction. Give it to me.
Way too early. That's why I never get on podcasts, because you always that's why I don't do these. I'm going to go in the finals. I'm going to go with New York Liberty versus Minnesota rematch.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go with New York.
That is a big take, especially seeing how that last series went and some people still being upset about it.
That's an early season peaking too early prediction. That's what that is.
I'm not mad at it. And as a Liberty fan, I'm extra not mad at it. Diana, thank you so much for your time. Even in your retirement, you are very, very busy. So we appreciate you taking your time out to speak with us.
And take care.
Bye. All right, so DT has a rematch of last year's finals, but the Liberty still coming out on top in that one. Erica, how are you feeling? You agreeing? You disagreeing? Where are you leaning towards?
I mean, first of all, I would just like to say that for 45 minutes, I did my part. If indeed it is a run back year, everyone plays their role. But I agree. I do agree that the New York Liberty are my early prediction to win a championship in 2025. Now, I did not pick them going up against the Lynx. I do have the Aces slotting in there. As much as I do think the front court is a little bit of a bugaboo, Asia Wilson cannot be stopped. So I'm curious to see, especially because things have already gone down a little different than I was expecting. Some teams, as I said earlier, coming out in what feels like almost mid-season form, not perfect, but pretty dang good. So I guess we'll just have to see who's right. I mean, I don't know how you argue with the GOAT, though.
Come on. If anyone knows, it's DT. Listen, she's obviously very much enjoying her retirement. She told me, and the full episode will be on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. But if you want to easily find us, and that includes on podcasts, wherever you get your pods, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff, you can scan this QR code right here, and we will pop up wherever you get your pods on We Need to Talk Now, presented by AT&T.